Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So I'm going to wait a couple of minutes for people to tune in before I get started. And while we wait, I want to encourage you to follow me on Twitter at New Poss Blog, and also to like my Facebook page, New Possibilities. So I'm going to wait a couple of minutes before I get started. I want a couple of people to tune in before I get started. There's a lot of background noise because it's very windy outside. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully it doesn't mess up the quality of this video too much. So I hope you all can bear with me. So I'll wait a couple of more minutes and then I'll go ahead and get started. Okay, I see a few people have tuned in. Can you please let me know if there are any problems with the audio or the video? I would appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to assume that everything is fine. So again, I'm going to put my avatar up just to avoid any kind of buffering issues. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Marilyn Mosby is the state's attorney in Baltimore City, and she has made a decision that has got a lot of attention, not only here in Baltimore, but around the country. And basically, she's decided that to declare the war on drugs as being over in Baltimore. So I'm going to read a couple of excerpts from this article from the Baltimore Sun, and then I'm going to provide my commentary, share my thoughts about this. And I'm really interested in hearing from you. I want to know what you all think about this. So this is Marilyn Mosby right here. She's married to the city council president, Nick Mosby. They're a powerful and influential family in the city. So this article says, declaring the war on drugs over in Baltimore, State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby announced Friday that she will make permanent her COVID-19 policy to dismiss all criminal charges for possession of drugs, including heroin. That's like one of the most addictive and dangerous drugs in this country. And I'm wondering if this also includes fentanyl. Many people know that these drug dealers, they will cut heroin with fentanyl, and some people use fentanyl by itself, and that's a very deadly drug. A lot of people have died as a result of using fentanyl. And in fact, from what I understand, I read somewhere or heard somewhere that more people actually die from fentanyl in Baltimore City than they die from gun violence that plagues our city. This article goes on to say that the city's top prosecutor also said she will continue to dismiss criminal cases for nonviolent crimes of attempted drug distribution, prostitution, trespassing, open containers, and minor traffic offenses. And it goes on to say this: her office stopped taking these cases 1 year ago. Prosecutors have dismissed 1,400 criminal cases and a similar number of warrants, she said. And this article talks about how violent crime has declined about 20% so far this year compared to the same 3 months of last year, largely before the coronavirus. This is what they're saying in this particular article. And, you know, she points out this. She says that the data suggests that there is no public safety value in prosecuting these low-level offenses. So that's the announcement that she made. And there have been, a lot of people online supporting this decision. And one thing that's very important to mention is that the Mosbys are under federal investigation. Uh, and I'm not going to go into all the details about their investigation, but I know that part of it involves properties that they own in Florida. They own these very expensive properties, and they don't make all that much money as public servants. They have these side businesses that are under investigation. There are issues dealing with her doing all this frequent traveling. uh, you know I think it was like 100 and something days that she missed from serving in her office because she was traveling around the country. And as many people know, Baltimore City is one of the most violent cities in the country. I was looking at something online, and they had Baltimore as number 4 as the fourth most violent city in this country. And you have the state's attorney doing all this traveling and stuff like that when we have a problem with crime in our city, a problem with violence in particular. And a lot of that violence is connected to the drug trade. So, and another thing that's important to point out is this, they're in this article, they're saying that there was a decline in violent crime. But then I saw this other article where it talked about how Baltimore is currently ahead in the homicides compared to last year. This article pointed out how around this time last year, there were 60 homicides. And so far, at the time when this article was written, there were 63 homicides in Baltimore. So I think that there's, something needs to be like, I'm not sure what numbers they're relying on to say that, violent crime is going down. If on the one hand, you got all these murders and the murders ticking up, I don't understand how they're saying that the crime is down. So that's one of the first things that I have to say about this particular article. So let me stop sharing my screen for a second. As you all know, I've been doing a lot of videos in the past about the problem of mass incarceration of Black people as a result of this so-called war on drugs. I've done many videos where I've talked about Michelle Alexander's masterpiece, The New Jim Crow, where she talks about how various policies were implemented that resulted in high incarceration rates, and that those policies were targeted at Black communities, even though Black people and white people use drugs and sell drugs at similar rates. She talks about like the policies of the Clinton administration and how they helped to accelerate the problem of mass incarceration. So this issue of mass incarceration is something that's very important. It's something that I've talked about for a long time. And I do think that people who are addicted to drugs, I don't think that they should go to jail. I don't think that that's the best way to deal with drug addiction. I think that people who are on drugs, they need help. They need treatment. Putting them in jail with hardened criminals doesn't help address the problem of drug addiction in communities. What we need to do is, instead of investing in more prisons, we need to invest in more treatment programs for people who are addicted to drugs. So I understand that aspect of it. I understand the need to, not focus police resources on arresting people who have a health condition, like a problem of addiction. So I get that. I understand that. But like part of me is torn though, because I live here in Baltimore, we have many open air drug markets where the drug trades are able to flourish, and many people are dying from drug addiction. Families and communities are destroyed as a result of drug addiction. So it's a horrific situation. And I just had to, voice that. Because like here, like right near where I live, we have blocks where you have people out all day selling and using drugs. That is destroying the community. And I do believe that people who distribute drugs, they should be arrested. Like people, these drug dealers that are selling this poison to our people, they should be arrested. So I'm not one to say, well, people should be able to just sell drugs without any kind of regulations and all that kind of stuff, because these drugs are destroying our community. They're absolutely destroying our community. And the drug trade often fuels the violence that we see in the community, because you have rival groups fighting over drug territory. That fuels a big portion of the violence that we see in Baltimore. So I think that this is a huge problem. And, I think that the legalization of prostitution, like I understand why they're doing it. But I just think that that's not a good thing to do, because, prostitution spreads all kinds of diseases, AIDS and all that kind of stuff, or other kinds of STDs and stuff like that. It destroys family life and it destroys the community. Um, and part of me really wonders if Marilyn Mosby isn't just doing this to gain popularity at a time when she's under investigation by the federal government. Um, so that's one of the things that I'm concerned about. And I wonder about this decision not to arrest, not to prosecute cases where there's drug distribution involved. I want to know, like, is she talking about all drug distribution? Is it certain amounts or quantities? I'm really interested in knowing about that. So yeah, this wind is blowing real loud. So I'm gonna have to close out this live stream. I'm really interested in hearing from you. Like, do you think the drugs should be legalized? Why? Why not? Tell me what you think. So please rate, comment, subscribe, like the video, share the video, hit that notification bell so that you'll know when I post new content on here. Peace and blessings. Have a great evening.